Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Gulch2, and I'm going to be taking you through NecroVision 1. Um, you might have seen me play NecroVision Lost Company in some marathon events, but this is actually the original NecroVision. So, NecroVision Lost Company is the prequel to NecroVision. So, NecroVision is a World War I alternate history FPS horror game. It's very buggy, it's got a lot of character to it, and I absolutely love this game. It's my first time showing this particular game off in a marathon setting, so I'm really excited. Also with me here today, I have Astrid and Shmumbler, if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Astrid the Horror Girl. While I haven't run this particular NecroVision, um, I am still very proud of myself for introducing Gulch to this game.
Hmm. Would not be here without Astrid.
You guys thought you were rid of me. I have run half of this game. That is about all I have managed so far. This game does have some delicious jank, though.
Hmm. Yeah, and with that, we can just get right into it. So we started pretty hot right off the beginning. So I'm gonna click New Game. Click yes, and we're gonna start on recruit difficulty. The time will start after we skip 2 of these beginning cutscenes and get control of our character. And while I'm going through this first prologue section here, would Astrid or Smuggler be able to explain how
December
rifle jumping works?
1916.
Sure.
Get up, Dan.
The first thing that you're gonna see in this run, really, the first tricks that you're gonna see, is a technique that you'll see throughout this entire run. It's called rifle jumping. Essentially, when you do a melee with the rifle while jumping up into the air, if you do it on the correct frame, so this is a frame perfect trick, it actually takes you up off your feet and makes you go all the way up and launch toward a certain direction. Um, it is a trick that has a lot of nuance. You have to really figure out like which frame you're wanting to be landing on.
It's unbelievable.
And one of the tricky things about this is that you are
Damn, an ambush.
one of the things that we do for this game
Gotta get away from
is
this
slow the game
gas.
down to go at
And my
about
only way out?
30 frames per
Straight into
second,
the
because
lion's mouth.
it's a lot easier to land on the right frame at 30 frames per second rather than at like 200 frames per second, which uncapped this game can get pretty high up there.
Yeah, there's also different kinds of rifle jumps too. Like you can see here, we're getting a lot of vertical height. You can also get a lot of forward momentum, and those largely
now?
depend on
An
which
angel?
frame of the running animation
guess
you
not.
perform the rifle jump on. As well as if you push a movement key after you've launched into the air. Sometimes when you're trying to get a forward momentum boost, you might accidentally get a vertical boost and be able to salvage it by hitting a movement key while you're floating.
Yeah, and this is our first boss in the game. It's a wizard, so you kind of get a vibe of how the rest of the game will be in terms of enemies. So yeah, it's a lot of unique enemies here. We're actually not gonna defeat this wizard at this point, but we'll see him
in the air.
many times throughout
Where's
the
a
rest of
man
this game.
supposed to hide?
We also have these weird flying manta rays that we're just going to shoot down in order to transition to the next level.
Well, as I always try to tell people, y'all thought that you understood the story of World War One, but you really don't know until you have played NecroVision and NecroVision Lost Company
Why don't you
what was
just put a
actually
bullet in
going
the
on in
back
the
of my
war.
head?
You have the demons versus the vampires, and the extermination led against dragons, the scorpions that are like giant tanks, the experiments that the Germans were doing on vampire DNA, um, and how this American soldier was transformed into a part demon, part vampire. Like, you don't get that in textbooks.
Nice place.
You don't.
But I wouldn't want to stick
Um,
around.
You know, you also brought up a really good point just then. Doesn't the introductory text on the main menu for this game say join the British Army? Why are we a very clearly American soldier?
it's very funny. It is so fun fact about that. In this game, the very first opening cutscene that you get, you are doing a joint operation with the British, as an American. And in that opening level, like, all of the British soldiers die, and you're just some American dude. What's funny about that is in NecroVision Lost Company, the same text appears in the game for join the British Army, but there is not one British soldier in that game whatsoever.
No, there's not.
They just copied the text over.
You're part of the German army in that game.
Yep.
You know, save time, save frames, just copy pasta. You're fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Look, we
this
love
trick
an
that we're doing-
optimized workflow.
Yeah.
Text won't work on me because I can't read.
Exactly.
So this trick right here is the absolute hardest trick for me in the game. It is the biggest reset point for going for PvE attempts. But essentially, I'm trying to just run up this piece of collision here, trying to get stuck, and then hopefully be able to get out of bounds here. Oh, got up for a second, but couldn't get all the way up. If I end up spending a couple minutes on this, I have a safety save that is just right after this point, right after we get up, but it can be kind of mean.
Oh yeah, this is definitely one of a few different parts that are why I've only run half of this game so far. And it's like, it's a bit to do with the fact that this game runs uncapped by itself and can reach significantly high frame rates in that sloped wall surfaces just have bizarre collision that can just kind of launch you. And we're trying basically to get a launch that gets us through this tiny hole that we should not be able to fit through.
Mm-hmm. Normally, we would just, in any other level, we would just use our rifle to jump out of bounds and make this a whole lot easier, but we unfortunately don't have a rifle to access at this point, or any other weapon that we can do rifle jumps for, so we're just going purely based on faith, trying to get through this small little gap here. But I'll give this a few more tries, and if I can't get through it, I'll just reload my save that I have. This looks almost good, but just sometimes it doesn't want to give it to you.
Yeah, this one's particularly stingy. That being said, not the worst skip in the game, in my opinion.
There we go. That's what.
Oh,
it looks
great
like.
job.
Oh, it looks so effortless that time.
Yeah. And that is
Also,
my
that's my favorite soundbite.
Exactly, yes. It's become such a huge meme, and I just love it.
Screw this!
And trying to get up onto this little ledge here. This is actually kind of a precise jump. But there you go, we got it there. And we're just going to continue making our way out of bounds towards the end of this level. The game itself is structured with 13 levels in total. We have a prologue and then 12 chapters. So we're pretty much going to be making our way through each level and just getting to the end trigger as fast as possible. So here, we're going to make our way towards this last section of the level, doing a little bit of blind out of bounds. And we're essentially just going to clip through this room over here, and this little area has the trigger to end the level. So going to slide ourselves down here, and then just jump and spam crouch into this corner. In order
Believe
to
it or
slip
not,
through.
this is the one that made me stop running this game.
Yeah, no, this is such a cruel chapter. It has two of the worst skips in the entire game, like almost back to back.
Mm-hmm. And both of these tricks just seem like you do the same thing over and over, and then just one of the times it'll just give it to you. It has no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, I remember experimenting with FPS too, and like even bringing the FPS down lower did not seem to make that any more consistent.
Have surrounded us, and they continue to hound us with their beasts.
Yeah, I switched to 30 for that. Maybe it's placebo that it helps, but that was. This out of bounds is really funny because you can just walk out of bounds, and now I'm just there. But and we're just gonna continue to do rifle jumps all the way towards the end of this level where we have a boss fight. But we have a little bit of downtime, so might be a good time to read any donations, make any announcements.
Yeah, I wanted to tell folks that we have a couple of bid wars open, and we have a new incentive that just opened up. So for some games that are coming up tomorrow, the Hello Kitty Roller Rescue, you know that's a horror block game, right? No, it's coming up tomorrow. We have a bid war going, and it is a really tight bid war actually for the character between Hello Kitty and Bad Bats Maru. Bad Bats Maru is in the lead at $60. Hello Kitty is only behind by $5. So if you want to see Kitty in her own game, $5. Well, $5 will make it a tie. So $6 will put her in the lead. Or, you know, you could just give Bad Bats Maru, my personal favorite, a healthier lead. We also have, just one second. All right, we also have a bid war open to choose the soundtrack in the DuckTales Remastered run, modern or 8-bit. Y'all feel strongly about that 8-bit. It's in the lead at $80. If you want to hear that modern one, it is trailing behind at $10. You can click on those bid wars at the same time that you're clicking on the incentives, like the incentive we have that just opened up for the Tasomachi Behind the Twilight Run for comfy nighttime cleanup. We're looking for $200 to unlock that one. Please get your donation.
It can't
Thank
see
you.
me. Look, maybe we can just talk this thing
so now
through.
towards the end here, we're facing off against this ogre. He can do some mean things where he kind of gets stuck in this running animation and runs down this really long hallway, which is what we don't want him to do. But
roll here.
we could just body block him as a small little guy. He does not move, so that's pretty awesome.
I'm sorry, Mama.
Or just a little guy.
Yeah. Everyone remembers the ogres on the Western Front. That was a tough battle.
I think there was a PBS documentary about that.
Must get to the
Oh, I
castle.
saw that one too.
I have
Ogres
to
on the Western
find
Front.
Zimmerman.
Yeah. There's a famous book about it too called All Ogres on the Western Front.
I love how dangerous that opening cutscene makes this level look. But, you know, just a couple well-placed jumps and we're home free. Just taking the safe route.
Yep, just going out of bounds, doing some rifle jumps. Like, this game in particular has a lot. The maps are a lot bigger compared to Lost Company, and it's nope, did not make that.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to do a lot more horizontal rifle jumps in this game compared to NecroVision Lost Company, so it's a little bit harder, less friendly for, you know, if you don't prefer to do that. There's a lot more alternate strats in Lost Company that you can do to avoid doing rifle jumps if you don't want to, and also still get like a really fast time. But this game is a lot of ground to cover, so one of the big differences between the two.
I also want to touch on that real quick. The size of the maps. This game was made on
Don't suppose knocking on the door will
the
get me
Pain
in.
engine.
Time to make
the
a
engine
smashing
that
entrance.
Painkiller famously ran on. Basically, giant maps that you can fill with so many
Taste
enemies.
some
That's
justice,
the
you
idea
bosh
of
bastards.
the Pain engine, and NecroVision basically thought that Painkiller was holding out on us, making these maps that weren't nearly as large as they could have been, with nearly as many enemies as they could have had. Literally, NecroVision looked at Painkiller and went, bet. as far as the size of things. Now that does not mean that NecroVision is a better game than Painkiller, but it's definitely, and this is one of the things that attracted me to this game. This game is ambitious, just so ambitious to do.
Yeah, and this game has several sections where they throw a million enemies at us, and it makes it so much more terrifying, and a lot more dangerous. But that's all the fun.
Got it.
Yeah, I really love how we're on recruit difficulty, but Gulch will be close to, if not dead, many times.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's there's a boss fight later on in this game where we're kind of just like face tanking damage and just having a arm wrestling competition.
Armed and dangerous.
Survive the longest. And it's a coin toss if the game wants to give it to us or
You
not.
boys are starting to annoy me.
Yeah, even on the recruit difficulty, it's
That's right.
not
Come on
easy.
out.
There's
I'm ready
enemies,
for you now.
Lots and lots of enemies that do a good amount of damage. So I can't
Also,
imagine
shout
playing
out to the mech that we're going to abandon at every possible opportunity because it's so much slower than rifle jumping.
What's wrong with this place?
I
Spiders
wish we didn't have to have the mech here because it is just so slow. Like the amount of time that we could have got to the spot way earlier, but a condition for ending that level is being in the mech and touching that area. So, and here, like Shmumbler said, we're going to just abandon the mech immediately.
Yep, gonna do a few rifle jumps to get to another boss arena. And it doesn't matter because even though the mech is required for the fight, it just kind of puts you back in the mech once you trigger the fight, so easy way to save some time.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
this
the boss, by the way, the big old scorpion.
It's a familiar friend too, if you're familiar with NecroVision Lost Company. So this person we're actually fighting here is the main protagonist of NecroVision Lost Company. So you kind of see what happens after, spoilers for NecroVision Lost Company, but after the main character gets the, vampire glove and gets kind of power crazy, and we can see the ramifications of that, and causes you to create a scorpion mech, apparently.
And if you're thinking to yourself, huh, that seems like a lot of build-up to kill this guy who is going to die on basically like the 5th level of the game.
But you're getting
I think so
smaller
too.
by the second.
Because
Yeah.
in case you were wondering, like I thought that there was a lot more game to this. There is. There sure is.
Yeah, there were like multiple people when we were experimenting with this game who were playing through it casually and were just like would get to this boss and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm at the final boss."
This cannot be happening.
What do you mean that's not the final boss?
Yeah.
I am perfect.
What do you
Like,
mean that I'm a third of the way through the game?
Miserable human being.
Alright, so the first phase, destroying the scorpion mech, is done, and now we get to face off against Zimmerman in a 1v1 little battle. Very reminiscent of the evil twin fight, the same kind of powers in NecroVision Lost Company. So we're gonna run and grab this LMG because Akimbo LMGs is the strongest weapon in the game. So we're just gonna unload on Zimmerman, and this is a two-phase fight, but we can potentially skip the second phase if we jump at the right time here while the ground breaks. We can get a little height. Not enough. We do enough damage too, but I'm gonna want Zimmerman to come down here. We'll do a lunge attack at us, hopefully.
Sometimes he just likes to stay up there and throw fireballs.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm gonna use my rifle and try to hit him. This is kind of... There we go.
I've had enough of you.
You lose.
Yeah.
And now since Zimmerman is defeated, we can pick up the vampire glove for ourselves.
You know, something you gotta hand to Lost Company. As broken as their cutscenes still are, they're nowhere near as broken as the cutscenes in this game.
The things down here don't care what they kill. The barbed wires.
I mean, the game's gotta hand it to you because you just got the glove, right?
That's
And
true.
mine, huh? Not yet.
I like
You
how I
have
could
much
feel
further to go.
sporadic,
And
like
now,
sitting on
my
that joke. Is
heroes,
just no, I'm gonna
show
say
me
it.
what you are capable of.
You got a big mouth for a piece
You
of
just
ancient
set it
junk.
up, and I was just like, hand, glove.
Do not underestimate the might of the darkness.
Just
Speaking
tell
of
me how to get out
glove,
of here.
this one's talking to us.
First, you must venture into realms beyond the experience of
I'm
war.
glad that's the way the
You are
conversation went. I
much
can handle that.
stronger than your
Talking
predecessor.
glove, no problem.
I can feel the burning fire of your fury. But
Here's
rage
our
alone
wizard friend
and
from
fire
the
of your
first
fury.
chapter of the game.
But rage alone
And
is
goodbye.
not enough to
We'll see him
win
again
this
though.
war.
No worries.
Oh, this is one of those artifacts that's like, yes, you used me so much better. You need to smack it against the wall a few times.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I picked you
but
up
we-
because the aesthetic.
We basically get informed that during World War I, there is a war going on between the vampires and the demons, because of course there is. We are getting recruited, I guess is the best word, to fight in that war, which is a war that we are told is far more important than the one going on just above. So
September 21st,
that's what we're trying to do. And also, I want to point out that at some point in this game, I am not sure where. You'd probably know, Gulch, because you play this a lot more than me. But the
Sure
voice
you're not.
actor
Get the
for the
feeling
main
there'll be some
character
kind of altar
inexplicably
here that won't be
changes.
leading me to heaven.
It's
We're heading in the
strange.
opposite direction.
I actually don't know if I noticed that.
Get the feeling there'll be some kind of altar here that won't be leading me to heaven.
Like, where does it
We're
change?
heading
Is
in
it like
the
halfway
opposite
through,
direction.
or?
I
But
think
that's
it's
what
already
we're
Different
happened. His
lines?
voice is
Yeah.
very different
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, it does sound different now that you say that. That jump,
Imagine being
I'm-
the company doing this, and like the original voice actor can't continue for whatever reason, and instead of re-recording the lines, you're like, eh.
Yeah, because it's originally like a guy with like a very distinct, like almost southern accent, and this guy's just gruff and low with no accent.
Okay, so wait, does it change? What, do you start out as a vampire demon, or do you become a vampire demon?
The Shadow Hand Gauntlet makes us like kind of vampiric.
Okay, so the voice changed as soon as the gauntlet.
Yeah, that could be it. They could be related.
Yeah. There we go.
Cracking
Also, which side are you
mysteries.
being recruited by? The vampires or the demons? Are they both trying to recruit you for reasons unknown? Because you're the guy. You want to be
You
the
know-
guy? You are the guy. Everybody wants to recruit you.
I never played through casually all the way, but like it kind of seems
kind
like
of
neither
church is
because at
this?
some point we get recruited by the Fire Drakes.
Yeah.
We are very close, master.
Well, basically, like,
You will meet the
have you
one
ever
who will
played,
show you the path.
like for instance, like Skyrim, when you're trying to pick between the Imperials and the Stormcloaks?
Time is of
It's
the
nothing like
essence.
that.
Kill these enemies and do not
That's good because I
tarry.
have not. haven't played through Skyrim. It's nothing like that.
I do want to say too, while Gulch is taking care of this massive horde of enemies, okay, we have console commands opened.
Whoops.
But Gulch did an incredible job chaining all of those rifle jumps with
Yeah.
the Shadow Hand, because the timing of doing those jumps with the gauntlet is way harder.
It's also worth pointing out too that all the weapons, because you can technically do like the rifle jump with every weapon in this game, but the timing window and the different frames you have to time it on are all significantly different. So you have to be prepared for that. And what Gulch is trying to do now is kill specifically one enemy in this mess of enemies, which is this dude with a staff. He's gonna appear and disappear and go in and out, and that's the only one that needs to die. All the rest can run around on the floor and do whatever they want, but
we gotta stop the World War Wizard.
Yes.
And surprisingly, there could be even more enemies around here. I did kill a bunch with that fireball, but we did, like, a lot of the rifle jumps we did were intentional in order to skip spawns of enemies. So we're kind of lucky with the amount that spawn here. It can get even more chaotic to the point where it's nearly impossible to finish out this boss fight because there's just so many enemies blocking your bullets from hitting them.
They do seem to get in the way, don't they?
Yeah.
It's also not an exaggeration of like nearly impossible. This game is way too hard.
Yeah.
What was it again? The dragon will take me on a ride to hell? I'm just about ready to believe that's no joke. So let's go find him.
Just trying to squeeze through this little gate here in the top left corner. There's a little gap that we can get through. This level too also has one of the more scary tricks coming.
Oh, is it the actual one that I hate the most with the floor?
Yeah, the crusher thing? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, I was watching that and I don't understand it.
It took me so long to understand what was going on here. It's a good mix of managing stamina and also managing health and just making sure that you arrive here at the right time. So there's this giant crusher that's blocking the doorway where we're supposed to go. And we're intended just to disable the crusher mission, but instead we're going to run through it. And we have to time it precisely from when we get our invincibility frames, and it's when we get the slowdown. And we want enough health so that we can make it through and make it to the checkpoint.
Think you're good?
Yep.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But it's not quite over yet because there's enemies on the other side here, and we're really low health. And yeah.
Oh.
So you kind of have to. Their screen's completely black as well, so you have to dodge the enemies and kind of hope you don't get hurt too much.
And you're not hallucinating, everyone. The boss's name is Skeletor.
Really wanted to say
that is the name.
Is this not just Thor? It's Skeletor.
Yes.
Move over, Thor. Sit down, Skeletor. We have Skeletor.
Mm-hmm. And
also
this isn't even the only time you fight him.
That's true. I need you to understand that Skeletor is a giant skeleton in basically a rocket-propelled wheelchair.
I feel like they have him mixed up with somebody else. But okay. Does he at least have a hammer?
No, he just has machine guns.
Okay.
As you can tell, this is like the greatest game in the world.
This has kind of been a block of games like that. A block of games that will make you question.
Yeah, the normal block.
The normal block. I feel so normal about this block. I'm definitely not gonna have any nightmares block.
Also, want to point out again,
The demons won't protect you.
Gulch is doing a terrific job with all of these gauntlet jumps. But there's all these like little tiny like holes in the wall that you just have to try to squeeze through. And sometimes it straight up does not want to obey, and it is... I don't know if Gulch has found a system, but it always felt like luck to me, squeezing through these little holes.
Yeah, they there's no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. We're trying our best here. I think 30 FPS tends to help, but
What the hell?
yeah, we essentially just want to jump over this little gap and squeeze through here. But yeah, it does not always want to work. Right after we get through this gate here, it's the end of level trigger. So let's see, there we go.
There.
Right away.
Yeah. That's the thing too, is a lot of them
Let's
a lot of them look like very simple skips, but
Today I found
almost
a
all of these
car
tricks are
like it.
damn near frame perfect tricks.
And
Oh yeah, we're butting a
Here's my
dragon now.
favorite part.
Resistance human.
NecroVision Lost Company had planes, but NecroVision 1 has flying dragons, so...
Yeah, you fight this dragon in a plane in NecroVision Lost Company.
I didn't know it was the same one.
It is, yeah. That's why you can't kill it, because it's supposed to come back for NecroVision.
Extinction. The wards and barriers between the underworld and the domain
The fun thing though is that you actually get to control this one. You have no control over the plane, at least in the second half of that mission.
Cut it. Yeah,
That's true,
wow,
and it
this is some
becomes
ride.
on rails there.
Focus, Shadow Warrior. Mephisto's
Wow,
legions
this
are
is some ride.
wards, and they must be struck down before we can kill
NecroVision has a lot of
Another
characters.
damn trapdoor.
I will unleash the fires of hell upon them.
We're already there.
I love this game's voice acting.
Our southern drawl guy is back because
Because
now he's a dragon. He was a man. Actually, he was a.
oh my gosh, the strong bad reference. Let's go.
All right.
I also want to quickly point out, if you're thinking like everyone is, let's be honest, how do I speedrun this game? What's fantastic is for both NecroVision Lost Company and for NecroVision, we have guides and tutorials that one I made for Lost Company and one that Gulch made for this game. And we also have a community for this, and we can help you make sense of the madness that is these runs. And if this feels like the kind of madness you want to be involved in, like, we understand. We got you.
Also,
always a
very,
fantastic time to get
very low cost of entry because these games go on sale for $1 a piece.
Yeah.
Like every sale.
Pretty much always. Like when I picked this game up, I got it for like 72 cents. Like, it goes on sale for that all the time.
Which is a steal, because NecroVision is amazing.
Yeah,
So
it's
you can
goated,
go
as
around
you
and
can
get
see.
one.
Oh yeah, we still haven't even gotten to my favorite voice lines in the game.
There's so many from both games that I've just
my skills.
added as sound alerts for my stream. Because
See, this is why I'm so glad that this game has such janky cutscenes, because my absolute favorite line, you shouldn't even be able to hear in a speedrun, but you get to because cutscene audio doesn't stop playing after you skip a cutscene if it goes into a load screen.
I wasn't ready for Captain Yeehaw to suddenly become Soldier 76.
Well, you can try to stop me, but you gotta do better than that.
So it switches back and forth between the Yeehaw and the
It sure does.
whatever that cranky other voice is. Actor Switch is probably a voice actor with really good range. I'm guessing.
It
So in
changes
this level,
even
the
more for
dragon
me.
does actually talk to us too. So some of the voice here is actually the dragon.
Okay, alright.
These little scaling moments are really, really interesting in the game. For some reason, running alongside hills and mountains in this game and in Lost Company accelerate your character if you go at a certain angle and allow you to basically run straight up walls.
And it gives you way more of a boost the higher your FPS is.
Yep, and here we're just gonna land on top of this cave because the end level trigger is somewhere over here and it extends pretty high, so we can just walk her along this cave on the outside and hit it down the mission.
I like how we could hear your
October
heels on the
16th,
top of the cave. That was
1960.
Yeah.
Chapter 10, 3 levels left.
So here's this level has the boss fight that I was alluding to earlier, where we're kind of just gonna have a little arm wrestling competition. Not literally, but I'm just gonna be holding down this M1 flame attack on this boss, get myself into a corner, and just hope for the best.
After he forged the first
Ideally, we want him to be using this one specific attack where he tries to keep pushing us
So
away.
this is
But
Azazel
we're gonna
guy.
stick
Can he
ourselves in
be
a
killed in
corner
a stand-up
so that
fight?
we actually don't get far enough for him to start doing his ranged attacks. So I'm gonna see which way he goes and go into a corner over on the side he chooses, and then hopefully we can just continue holding down our fire attack and hopefully win this battle. There's a bunch of enemies that will come swarm us, but looks like we might have some protection just from the debris. So
okay. We got the glow.
You're doing great damage.
We got protection.
Yeah.
and yeah, we should be good here. There we are. So that was the first phase of this boss. Now we have to defeat this enemy on his own, so without his little pet here that he, for some reason, puts out of its misery.
So you can tell it's a bad guy.
That's true.
That was his buddy.
Yeah.
How dare?
Oop.
There's a loyalty.
Oh, that's a bad place to get caught.
I love how the second phase of the fight makes you run a full football field just to start it.
Mm-hmm. Listen,
And-
they're on the pain engine. You gotta use it.
You know, it's really funny, like, as much as this game does take from Painkiller, this is a Darksiders boss.
True.
Yeah, we're gonna be just using this little jump pad and getting in his face so we can melee him and also use our shotgun. We're stuck on his head right now. Okay. Oh!
Oh no.
Oh, that should have
He killed the
counted.
boss. He killed the boss, but ended up dying. Okay.
That's tragic.
I've never actually got stuck on his head to the point where I could not get off of it, so that was interesting.
Oh, has it never happened before? Never happened
Yeah,
before?
never
Bingo
happened
cards out,
before.
everyone.
Screw this.
I'm not ready for any of the voice lines in this game.
Oh, there's a great one right after this fight.
Yes.
Let's pick up our safety health.
Take that, freak. You're beaten, pretty boy. How does
Not
defeat
bad.
taste? I can't be stopped. You hear me? No demon, no monster, no enemy has the strength. Who's gonna be the next to die?
Only one demon remains
Tastes like my
to
award-winning
oppose us.
5-star chili.
The Devil King, the Lord of the Flies, Mephisto himself.
Yes.
Actually, the Lord of the Flies is Beelzebub.
I was like, the devs got a very different interpretation of the novel The Lord of the Flies than I did.
That was a lot to say when you're about to explode.
final battle
Let me
before
just
the
give you
last
all of the
duel.
titles.
You must seek out the fallen
Now I'll
one,
explode.
the Oathbreaker, the Dark Lord. You
I just
must
want to remind
challenge
everybody
him.
that for Fireside Pride 2024, we're raising money for Point of Pride. Point of Pride is a trans-led 501c3 non-profit organization that provides access to gender-affirming health and wellness services. The vast majority of recipients of their services are trans youth, folks living with disabilities and chronic illness, and folks living in rural or unaffirming regions. Your support ensures that they can receive the affirming care they need. If you can afford to donate, please consider doing so now.
I love what this level has become. This level used to be so much more convoluted, and now you literally just run up the side at the end.
Yeah, we are just scaling up this, scaling up the mountain, getting to this point where we can just, luckily, just rifle jump right to this little gap here. It's like the perfect height. And then over at the end of this bridge is the end of this level, and this is the second last level in the game. So we're gonna have a good old showdown with the Devil King himself here.
Kingdom.
A fight which is infinitely more tedious than anything that's in Lost Company.
Yes.
So we get reintroduced to the mech again here. So it's actually very slow to be fighting in the mech, but just due to the lack of ammo that we have, we're gonna do the first phase in this mech. They don't actually intend you to fight outside of the mech. I'm pretty sure they just expect you to be fighting in the mech for these entire 3 phases, but
Mech has
very
weirdly
fast.
low DPS.
Yeah, for some reason. It really does feel, even when you're playing Do, it feels like you're doing nothing. Like,
I mean, I'm staring at the health bar right now and it still looks full.
So we'll just be praying and praying and then just sidestepping as soon as he does this fireball attack, and that's essentially what we'll be doing for this phase. We'll be switched to different arenas for each of the phases that we have here, but after this one we'll be getting out of the mech and just unloading on this enemy.
Taste justice.
There is an alternate fire that we have. You see these little blue orbs that we're kind of throwing out there. We get those through the enemies that we kill, and also them running into us. So like the flying manta rays explode when they hit us, and that actually gives us some of that too. So I just
Can't take the heat,
I
huh?
have that available. And now we spawn into the second unit, so I'm immediately going to take out the vampire shotgun, and then also use my melee hand, the one on my left hand, melee this enemy. I'm just gonna stand at his feet and just keep on meleeing. When the manta rays come and blink into me, I'll start getting my power charged up, so I'll be able to throw those fireballs, but in between I'm just gonna be spamming shots.
You know, Astrid, it's funny that you brought up Skyrim before, because this fight reminds me a lot of Mehrunes
Get back
Dagon.
here and face me, you cheating coward!
Big ol' red dude in the city.
Yep, just sit under his feet and hack away at his ankles.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the last phase here, so once this boss health goes all the way down, they'll transition to a cutscene and I'll be on. But we got a little bit more shooting to do. Once we run out of the vampire shotgun ammo, we're gonna take out our other shotgun and pop some shots at him. Gonna step away just so we can heal up a little bit. It actually looks like we have a lot of health, so I have nothing to be worried about here. Gonna reload one more time. And this should be enough. And time.
Great job.
Thank you, thank you.
GG's.
And this cutscene makes me laugh.
Such a good
That's a
cutscene.
great cutscene. We ran out of budget, moved some images around.
Yeah, and there's different endings depending on what difficulty you play on. This is, if you played on Recruit, this is the kind of, it was just a dream type ending, so I think the hardest difficulty one is the true ending, if I'm not mistaken.
Am I home?
This is your last chance. Get on your knees.
But yeah, that was NecroVision 1. Thank you so much for having me, and yeah, allowing me to showcase this. Thank you to Astrid and Shmumbler for hanging out with me and helping me with commentary here. It's always fun having you guys around. Also, yeah, as Astrid mentioned earlier, there's tutorials for both NecroVision Lost Company and NecroVision, so if you're interested in trying out these games out for yourself, feel free to drop in our Discord. check out the speedrun.com page, and you'll see those resources available there. Anything that Astrid or Shmumbler wants to say?
Today, I look definitely
I've already
I
had my
just-
time. It's all you, Astrid.
Perhaps there's some
I
kind of
just want to say
guardian
that,
angel
yeah,
watching over me.
the
Doctors tell me I
NecroVision
have
games
shell shock.
are
I don't remember a thing from the last 2 years of the
incredibly
war.
silly,
It's all on a blank
flawed,
page.
ridiculous,
2 years of war.
like just over the top
Trenches and killing.
madness
Hell on
of
earth.
games, but they mean a lot to me because they were such ambitious projects that were clearly made by a team that cared a lot about what they were doing. And
Doctors
to be
can't explain
honest,
'em.
to be completely honest,
Maybe
I would take
that's for the best. I wonder
every
if I really
game
wanna know the answers.
being
I heard someone say
a
once that
flawed
memories are like a cat's
thing like
cradle,
NecroVision
full of
is, that
threads
was made
and
with a lot of
knots.
heart,
You
than
follow one
really
of them
well
up,
polished things
down,
that have
all
absolutely
around.
no soul.
Suddenly
That's what I want
realize
to
you're
say.
back at the start again. Maybe one
Great
day
point,
I'll
Astrid.
untangle the knots in my memory, even if the truth I find within them